We're a 3D mapping company. We drive around the streets of cities. Basically, we're collecting a geospatial data mine where every picture has like a three-dimensional coordinate to it. So these aren't just like static images. You can actually interact with them, measure, model, export, and kind of integrate with all sorts of like web-based applications. We used stereo photogrammetry to generate the 3D data. And part of the problem was being able to generate it so that it was dense enough where pretty much everything had 3D data. So that's one of our biggest, one of our things that we thought was the biggest innovation. And also part of the reason why we needed to collect our own data. We couldn't really do that data with any existing system. It didn't have the high enough quality for us. Atlas?
Atlas, yes.
Yeah. Well, they have a different value proposition. They go out and they collect very specific information that's needed. We kind of the reverse product. We kind of collect information on everything, and then we allow people to mark that up. So basically, it's kind of a user-generated model for gathering that information, but also people like companies like Atlas, maybe it will replace them having to actually go drive. They can still perform the function, which is very valuable, of gathering information about hotels or whatever else, and then basically use our system to extract that information.
So how many cities so far did you cover?
So we've done testing. Basically, with demo, we wanted to prove the concept, and we've proved the concept the whole way through. So not only with the data collection, but the 3D, but automating it. And so that's something we didn't have time to show, but the process is automated. So the car comes at the end of the day, goes online. So really, as far as how many cities we've done, we really only tested in San Francisco. But basically, the goal now is to figure out our costs and how to scale.
So how long, for example, for a city like San Francisco, does it take to do all the mapping?
I mean, really, it's as fast as you can drive the streets, legally, probably, right? So one vehicle, and it's about 2,300 linear miles to San Francisco. It takes about 3 weeks to drive it. So the driving's pretty quick. The processing also is pretty quick because it's a very lightly capture system, but at the end of the day, it's processed overnight. So it goes through this pipeline process. Yeah, the good thing is that it's actually a pretty lightweight system. A lot of other systems we've seen use video. We don't use video, we use high quality still cameras. And we collect data at spatial intervals, not temporal. So video will run 30 frames a second even when the car is stopped. It's still collecting a massive amount of data. Our driver, if he's going through a traffic jam, is collecting data still every 15 meters or whatever we decide. And so that's part of the reason why we can deliver this over the web pretty lightweight. Our cameras are synced with a global positioning system, and it has some other sensors on there, so that when the data is captured, it's located automatically in 3 dimensions, and the images are captured at an instant across multiple cameras. These images are blended seamlessly to create these images. The reason it kind of looks like video is because what you're looking at is it's correcting perspective in real time. You can imagine the image is mapped on the inside of a sphere, and we're rotating that sphere around us. So that illusion that it's like kind of video is basically, it's very similar to like panoramic images you probably see online at a real estate website. A little bit more sophisticated. Right now we're so small, kind of like, everyone could kind of be a competitor, I suppose. But I guess we have to differentiate ourselves from Google and from Microsoft, who are also collecting pictures of the street. Don't forget Amazon. Amazon also had their service. Is the 3-dimensional aspect of it. Also, there's quite a bit of improvement in quality and resolution. So it depends whether you want to see a snapshot in your Google Map search, which Google Maps does fine, or if you actually want to be immersive and measure things and actually see, look up and see the apartment maybe you want to have for rent, or you want to actually label and add geocoded information to the world. It's much more interactive. So because of the 3D aspect, you can't really use it for the same thing. We could use our images for that purpose, though. So it's it works in one direction.
Because it's higher quality. So where this technology was developed, was it at one of the universities or
So technology was developed, my background and John's background is busy talking. My background is in architecture, but really focused on digital panoramic photography and using panoramic photography to not only generate 3-dimensional information, and also then part of that was creating camera equipment to do that back then. So I had a lot of experience making camera equipment. Hooked up with John. John has a geomatic engineering background and applied laser scanning. So we kind of got together and we work on historical sites for many years, documenting them for heritage. We worked for SciArc for a couple of years, traveling around collecting data. So I guess getting back to where how we developed the hardware, we basically took some of our experience and background in laser scanning, photogrammetry, designing equipment for digital panoramic photography, and said, what would be the optimal system for us? And so we came up with this camera array where we have vertically offset cameras with a known baseline. We capture the images, 3D data is processed from them automatically, and delivered online. So it was really the hardware was designed to fit this need.
Right. Okay. So what are the plans for monetization? What are the plans for, what's the business model?
So we're still working on the business model. I mean, getting to this point was a lot of work. But there's a big value proposition I think that people in tech don't really understand, and that is just really that there's this big sleeping giant called the mapping industry and geographic information systems. Cities rely heavily on this for everything from taxing, parcel information, to being able to permit construction permits, rebuilding your public transportation system. So I guess the idea of physical mapping has been removed from the tech industry, hopefully until now, where we were able to digitize reality in a way that makes it connectable. So really, maps are extremely valuable, and I guess to make them better, hopefully we can see the full potential of the map. This valuable asset.
Okay. What was the sort of the funding history? Is the company self-funded, or do you get seeds, or?
Yeah, it was self-funded up to date. A lot of family and friends have been very supportive. So.
All right. Great. Thanks.